Hello there. Welcome in or welcome back. My name's Ross, and this is what my face looks like. This is the face attached to these hands and these arms. And there's a lot that's up in my sphere, and maybe y'all can relate about the fear of being seen. And when I started doing these readings, there wasn't really any idea about a fear of being seen. I just thought the cards were more interesting than my face. But this feels like an opportunity to A, see if there's better engagement, and B, arguably more importantly, to see what it's like to step into being seen in a way that doesn't promote any kind of fear at all. I mean, I was a theater kid growing up and I miss it dearly. I am concerned though, now that I can see myself, that I'm going to tangent quite a bit. So I've got the cards here. So let's get into it. Before I was tuning in, I was shuffling and strength kept coming up, a lot of swords kept coming up, the magician kept coming up, and then when I was tuning in, I got the impression of the grandmothers are here and the world is waking up, and I record these the day before they go live, and I post them every Tuesday and Thursday if you're new here. And the energy around this reading is we are in Cancer season. We've got the full moon in Capricorn, if you follow Western astrology, and Mercury is about to go retrograde. So there's a lot of potency around, and I'm curious to hear how you're dealing with that. For me, I have been feeling, it's a very interesting feeling. I've been feeling flu like symptoms in my body, but not like no sinus stuff, nothing like that. Just my body feels very fluey, and it's only at certain times of the day. It's very strange. So sound off in the comments if you're feeling any of that. But as we always do, and as I like to say, I don't think of these as prescriptive. Someone is starting to cut the grass, so I may have to close this window. I don't think of these as prescriptive. I think of them as an alternative viewpoint. This isn't fortune telling so much as it is storytelling. And so, if there is a part of your story that you would like deeper insight into or another perspective on, then I invite you to feel into that, think into that, close your eyes if that's safe for you. And in a moment, what I'll invite us to do is take 3 deep breaths into that sensation, whether it be a thought, whether it be a feeling, whether it be a tension, and breathe into that sensation. And then as you're breathing out, you can make a sound if you want. And I invite you to imagine that that exhale is carrying the sensation, the tension, the thoughts, all the way through the magic of the internet into the cards that we have here. So, closing your eyes if that is safe for you to do. Finding your feet flat on the floor if that is accessible for you. Tuning into that thought, that feeling, that sensation within that you would like more guidance on. And in a moment, we'll take those 3 deep breaths into that space and breathe out. And so, breathing in and out. And again, breathing in and out. And last time, breathing in and out. And slowly and gently releasing that liminal space. Coming back here. Aw, two people taking a walk. Out for their morning walkies. So yes, I post these every Tuesday and Thursday, and we will see what comes out today with all of the energy cycling about. What do we have for the readers? Or I'm sorry, what do we have for the collective at home? I knew this was going to come out. And like, okay, so like, this has nothing to do with the reading, but now I have to be concerned about showing a card for the thumbnail and making faces like this or like this. But in all actuality, it'll probably be me like going like this or picking my nose or something. But this was on the bottom of the deck when I first began shuffling. Or I'm sorry, before I even tuned in, when I was doing my pre-shuffle, this was on the bottom of the deck. And it really feels like this is where you are right now. You're not, ooh, there's a little bug. You're not so caught up in how things are looking on the outside because you know you have that power to create. You are the magician. You have that ability to channel. Can y'all see this bug? Yeah, what's it? Tinkerbell. Hi. It's hilarious that you can't see, if you can't see, because it's very tiny. What's bugging you? I'm very literal when it comes to my interpretations of messages from spirit. Yeah, it's flitting about my mouth, so it's like, what's bugging you about what you can or cannot say? But going back to the card, this has been a long road for you, and it's something that you may have gotten glimpses of, but it's now becoming more tangible, and not just tangible, but understood to be who you are. Like, this was always you. And despite all of the journeys that you've been on, despite all the different lives you may have inhabited in this incarnation, you've always had this power. You've always been the magician. You've always been able to, one of my friends calls this the staying alive guy. You've always been able to channel that creative force from the heavens and ground it into the real world. And you're learning that the grounding is the important part because it's fun. Talk about this till the cows come home. People even say that anymore? Why were the cows not at home? um, it's great to be up here and connected and being a cosmonaut and all of that kind of stuff. But 8:08 on the clock as I'm saying this, that does nothing if you don't have somewhere to ground it into. And you're learning how to ground it into the reality of this time and this place. So good on you, little guy. Or little bug, little aphid, little gnat. What else is the collective ready to hear? Okay, there's the rest of them. So we got 3 cards. And yeah, let's do it this way because that's kind of how the way that they fell. Right? It's all about that that balance between being up here and being down here. And I have been someone who has loved being in the angelic realms, being in the space of source of consciousness. But this is an expression of consciousness as well. The person tailgating you, which I talked about. Oh, now I got a point over here, which I talked about before. That is an expression of consciousness. The cashier at your grocery store is an expression of consciousness. The pets and the birds and that little bug that was flying around, that is an expression of consciousness as well. It doesn't have to look a certain way, and you're allowing yourself to realize that. And it's a beautiful place to be. It's also that idea of understanding that as material beings living in this 3D reality, we have to be in this 3D reality. And I'm talking to myself here. I have been unconsciously dissociating from reality in the name of spirituality, in the name of seeking, in the name of consciousness expansion. And I'm grateful for this journey. I'm grateful for what I've learned, but I'm ready to come down off the mountain. I'm ready to come down off the roof, to use human design terms, because yes, you can be held by the higher power of your understanding. You can feel that connection. You can feel that love, but we need each other here. We need to support each other here. We need to feel each other here. And here's two people ready to feel each other in a consensual way. And interesting, we've got the Two of Cups and the two cups that the Angel of Temperance has. So this is relationships, not necessarily romantic, but that idea of what I was just saying about we need each other. We need camaraderie. We need community. And the invitation, the dubious honor as a spiritual seeker, which I know you are, being here, if you found yourself here, is that you get to extend that unconditional love, that ever expanding consciousness to the person across from you. And unconditional love means that you don't have any expectations of them giving it back to you in the same unconditional way. I have been guilty of that. I have been guilty of giving what I thought was love, but really it was just codependency and being in survival mode and trauma responses, and a litany of things that I mistook as love. And that has been a very sobering lesson. But it does feel like it is finally sinking in, because in my own experience, I have learned how to transmute. I have learned how to look at not only my thoughts, but my feelings and my resistance to those feelings. And a mantra, I can't remember if I've spoken about this here before, but a mantra that I've recently, like within the last week, recently adopted, started using, is when I'll catch a thought, which is the first step. That's a thought, and I am more than that. That's a thought, and I am bigger than that. Choose whichever word feels less egoic and more expansive. That's just a feeling, and I am more than that. That's just resistance, and I am bigger than that. That's not to say that you discredit every emotion. The emotions with all of these cups here, they have value for you. They have information for you. But if you're ruminating on the same feeling and you're not getting anywhere, then Why are you still holding on to it? Once you finish a beverage, the cup loses its value. It loses its purpose. The purpose of the cup is to hold liquid. And once you've consumed that, the purpose of the cup becomes null and void. So, gratitude for the emotions, tuning in to see what they do have to show you, and then letting them go. And a really neat trick that I learned, it's that bug again, from another YouTuber. I believe their name is Reiki with Rachel or Rachel Reiki. I'll link it somewhere. You feel into whatever that sensation is, feel into whatever that tension is. And without trying to make it do anything, which we all know is a good thing, just bringing your awareness there, gentle awareness, like I always say, leaning your cheek up against a cool glass window or dipping your toe in a small, still pond. Just noticing it, noticing the sensation, and then asking, where is my higher self in this? Where is my higher self in this? And seeing if the higher self and that part, that emotion, want to have a conversation, if there's any kind of give and take that wants to happen there. Excuse me, confirmation burp. That has been a very useful practice, and I just found out about this yesterday. So it's amazing what can happen when you've been doing this for half a decade. But in a less glib way, it's amazing what can happen when we remember who we are. Waite calls these arrows of love, which auspicious with the Two of Cups here. But it's also this idea of a journey reaching its end. All of these wands are heading toward the ground, heading toward the same place. And there is really no ending to this journey. I mean, eventually this body's gonna, much like this glass, this mug, this body's gonna end its usefulness, its purposefulness, and I will transition on, as will us all, as will we all, as will we all. And that may be the end of the Ross journey. But it's not the end of the consciousness inhabiting the avatar of Ross. And this just feels like something that, this might be the title of the video, something that you've been working with really, really hard, really dedicating yourself to. And it does feel like it's an internal working. Whatever you've been working on internally is reaching its conclusion. And it may have to do with relationships. It doesn't feel like romantic, but it feels like relationships, community will help you find that grounding. And it's kind of interesting to talk about. This was the beginning, the magician, and this is the ending. The magician calling down the lightning from the gods to ground it into the world. And here comes these rods to be grounded in the world. And with temperance in the cups here in the center, it's that idea of balance. It's that idea of community, relating, even if it is just with a sensation and your higher self. Also, the caduceus here. This would be the funny one. The caduceus here always makes me think of Leo season. Yeah, and we've got Leo season coming up starting in July. So, like I said, I don't want this to be predictive. You're seeing these endings every day in all kinds of ways. But the big thing, the main thing that you've been working on, again, it feels internal. I would bet that it's going to be showing up in Leo season. And I'm just noticing here that this is 8, and Leo or August is the 8th month. So maybe the 8/8 Lionsgate portal is relevant or will be relevant. And I'll probably do a special reading or a special event at the Mythology Studio, which is my space in Lower Lawrenceville. I can almost see it when I look out the window. But we're doing all kinds of fun stuff over there. I just had my first Reiki share there, and it was beautiful. So I will link to my website below and to my Instagram where I post all those updates. We do have something coming up in July 10th, called What Cancer Knows. It'll be a Reiki experience where we look at all of the spaces and places within where we've been needing to be held, and then we'll invite the Reiki energy in to hold us there. And I'm very excited for that. And I have other things cooked up for the end of the month, but you can follow me and learn more about that. But let's bring it on home, Hafiz. What do you got for the folks? If it's relevant about this reading or relevant about something else, we welcome it. Hafiz, the Persian poet, modern day Iran. What do you got to show for us? Hafiz, who thinks of God not as a being above us, but as a beloved friend. And that has been a fundamental reorganizing of the thought of God this year. Hafiz, show us please what you got for us. Engage, trust, number 1. Also has the Magician. And I feel like before I even read this, there is an element of trust that comes with doing the magic. That we have to trust in something outside of ourselves, something beyond our limited human experience. Butterflies might be relevant. Looks like there's at least 3 here. Tres mariposas. Engage, trust. Love loves what it loves because of trust. We cannot know what the future holds, nor are we ever guaranteed safety or security. So we must trust what is unseen and allow our wellness to rest in what greater has in store for us. At any given moment, everything is working out for you. It's not happening to you, but for you. This is the trust that allows the wings of Psyche to unfurl. Couldn't have said it better than that. That'll probably be the title as well, depending on which one you click on. Everything is happening for you. And it can be a challenge for sure. to to see that when you're in the thick of it. But with the benefit of hindsight, I hope that you're able to see that, and I hope that this was valuable to you and that something resonated. If it did, give it a like, share it with someone who you think it might also resonate with. Follow, do the YouTube stuff. It's easy, it's free, who cares? And 2525 on the recording, so that feels like a good time to end. So, like I said, I pop on here every Tuesday and Thursday with these readings for the collective, and I will see you next time. But until then, my friends, I love you. Take care.